Good afternoon, everybody. Jeff, Handcycle Tips and Tricks. I want to wish everyone a happy Easter today, or second day of Passover. We're going to go over a couple little things today, specifically chain maintenance. I know a lot of you are waiting for the derailleur adjustment video. I will get to it, I promise. Bear with me with these videos. This phone doesn't focus all too fast, and at times it will be a little blurry. I just try to do it, so I think I've got everything positioned in the right place so that we don't have that big of an issue. Just bear with me and let's get this thing going. Hey guys, so here I am, I'm all set up. I have my son out here with me, little Gunner. Little nothing, he's quite large and in charge. But anyhow, alright, chain maintenance. I have a small piece of chain here that I found in my toolbox. So I threw my master links on it, that way I can demonstrate how to open these things and whatnot. Now these are the SRAM power plates, as they like to call them. I don't mean to drop names, I'm in no way sponsored or affiliated with anybody. But these are the ones I have. There's another one that looks like your outside plate, but your pins stick out a little bit further, and there's a clip that goes behind it. For those, just find something flat like this little specialized tool here. It's what I like to call a common screwdriver. You just gotta line it up, pop it until it's loose, and then pull it out. Very easy. This one requires a very special tool. These here, some pliers. There is an actual tool to do this, but I'm not going to go spend 10-15 bucks for a single purpose tool. I'm cheap. Okay, it's out there. Alright, so fold your chain, master link on the outside like this. Slide your pliers to the most open position. There's only 2 for these. Oh, and by the way, you can get these at Harbor Freight for 50 cents on a weekend sale. So if you don't have any, you need some, they need to be on your bike. And we'll go over toolkits later. Alright, so you take your master links, turn it towards you, and you see how the top end is tilted out more than the bottom. It leaves a gap at the top for when you squeeze it, you start to see it slide. And now it's all the way open. And pop these little guys out. They are easy to lose. I've lost more than I care to count. And then now your chain is free. Alright, there are a couple parts to the chain that you should know. These are your pins or rivets, outside plate, inside plate, and your rollers. Alright, now cleaning this thing, I recently used Greenworks, not Simple Green, on my chain. It was insanely nasty, and I figured it's something new, I don't know how it's going to work. So I threw it in a bucket with straight Greenworks and let it soak for a couple hours. Then I came out with my toothbrush, scrubbed it up good, all faces that I could reach, the rollers, the pins, the plates. And what I found was between the outside and inside plate, there was grease and grime and everything else still in there. So I figured, hey, what the hell? So I threw it back in the bucket and I let it soak overnight. It actually worked out really well. I did the same thing with this piece, and this thing is bone dry and it is extremely clean. As far as lubricants go, we'll talk about that some other time. I have my own thought process to this. Everyone makes their own choices, but yeah, I'll mention it here in a minute. So the other thing I want to talk about are tight links. Your links should roll and move with ease. You shouldn't have to force anything or make it bend on its own. If that's the case, more than likely you've got a bent plate somewhere, if you can find that tight piece that doesn't want to move, you can support it and kind of bend it a little bit, give it a little pressure, and sometimes it'll loosen up, in which case, hey, you're lucky. Otherwise, you may have to replace your chain. Another instance where you may have to replace your chain is in the event you have chain stretch. I know, how can a chain stretch? They have a chain gauge. One end of it sets between two rollers, anywhere on the chain, it doesn't matter. And then you tilt down the other side, and if it slides in between the next two rollers freely, you're fine. If it lands on the roller and doesn't just slide into place nice and easy, then your chain has stretched. What causes this are the inside plates and the outside plates wear on the rivet or the pin and start to notch it out, so it makes your chain slightly longer than what it was initially whenever it was new. In which case you'll have a sloppy chain. It doesn't have to be replaced right away, but I suggest you get it done whenever you have a chance. It's just typical maintenance. We all have to deal with it. That's one of those things. To put this thing back together, take your links, your master links, with the pin, go through one side, and then this one goes on the opposite side. Swing them around, set the pins in the holes. You'll kind of feel it snap, and then give it a little tug. And if you didn't see that, it does slightly move a little bit. Of course, I pulled it too much, so now it's kind of hung up. Anyway, you give it a little tug, it'll hold itself in place. Bend your links back to where it's just your master links and your fingers like this. That specialized tool. This time you're going to put the top end further into the mouth than the bottom. Again, that gap is what's going to allow it to slide. And then just as you were, I'm sorry. Top end is out further this time. And then you bite down, slides into place, no big deal. Alright, and then as far as lube goes, I use a dry lubricant. I'm not going to name any names, I'm not affiliated or anything, but I don't want to give anyone more advertisement than they need. I use a dry lubricant just simply because your chain likes to pick up everything that's on the road anyway. Some oily, wet substance is just going to amplify that, and you end up with an even nastier chain. It's not something I like to deal with, and I don't really think anyone else does either, but that's a broad generalization. Anyway, try out different things out there, find out what works best for you. Everyone is different, everyone has their own ideas about how things should work. But anyway, that is that. Your chain after this video should be nice and clean, scrubbed up, and you know how to work your master links, straighten out a possibly bent link. And you saw some very specialized tools today. Yeah, 50 cents. You can get a whole package of these wonderful scrubbers for $1 at the dollar store. And I think everyone's got this handy dandy common screwdriver. If not, Harbor Freight's got these really cheap too. You can get a whole box of them. Alright guys, you have a good one. Like I said, happy Easter. Everyone say hello to my boy Gunner. Hi Bubba, I love you. You guys have a good day.